Good morning, friends, family, followers. Here we are back on the farm. It's about 6:45 this morning, and I promised to do a few more videos around the farm. I wanted to start us out with something philosophical, and depending on your perspective, you probably have observed that the Earth, our planet, our home, maybe even your local ecosystems are experiencing troubles, problems, um, and depending on the way we frame that problem, philosophically, it's going to give us different solutions. And I have been working very hard to try to bridge that gap between, I think, different types of understanding of that problem. My personal opinion, my experience is that we have a lot of local problems. We have a lot of local things like localized warming. Uh, One of the biggest things that they talk about right now is global warming, global crisis, global climate crisis. And there is probably a crisis going on right now on this planet. It has probably a lot to do with humans. I don't know how much it has to do with warming, how much it has to do with specifically carbon. I know that is a part of it. Those cycles do work, but I'm going to offer you guys like a revolutionary, just a mind-bending out here. What if wherever there's people, they chop down more trees, they clear land use change. And the more people there are, the more land we've cleared. And the more trees we have, trees are just a special type of plant. Plants in general do this, but trees do this more. They have leaves. Leaves are solar panels which absorb solar radiation. Now, when the solar radiation makes it all the way to the ground, in a city, for example, they call it the heat island effect. The cement, concrete, absorbs that heat and it'll re-radiate that at night back into the atmosphere, into space. Clouds and carbon can trap some of that radiation, and they'll let, I guess statistically about half of it out, and they'll keep some of it in. That's the greenhouse effect. But so if we focus on carbon, part of the cycle, carbon's very important. We can track that across history. Carbon cycle is very important from our soils, our wood, our plants. Carbon cycle is very important, but it's not the whole picture. That's where I'm coming from. What I think is happening is, just like on a hot day, I look for the shade of a tree to sit under, and it's cooler under the tree because that sun energy is being absorbed by a solar panel and used up in a chemical reaction to create sugar, and on which all of our food chain is based. That sugar solar panel. Our human solar panels make the sunlight and they turn to electricity. Plant solar panels take the sunlight and a little bit of water and turn it into sugar, and that gets changed into all sorts of different food. All the calories we eat on up as that gets eaten by different types of animals. Simple example would be the herbivore that would eat direct solar sugars from grasses and stuff like that, and they would turn that into meat, and we eat them. We eat their meat, and we can eat some direct things like lettuce. Lettuce will absorb that sun directly and make it edible for us. We eat a lot of different plants. Okay, so philosophically, I want to take us to a place where we're incapable of solving a problem, and that is a global problem. I can't solve a global problem, and neither can you. And this is the place I think there's some people out there that want us to think that this is a global problem, and thus we can't solve it alone. We have to let some sort of super entity, world government, solve it for us. Or other stronger elite people need to be involved because it's a global problem. But I actually think it's a bunch of local problems. I think everywhere we can be solving this problem. Look at that. Ooh, got the sun right in my eye there. So, just like when that sun's in my eye, I can solve that problem by getting under the shade of a tree. I can do that too when my local town, farm life is heating up. I can plant trees, and I can start to develop agroforestry systems that will turn the excess sun's energy. Now, sun heat sun energy in this case is like a waste product. I got too much of it. I need more solar panels that are going to use it. And all of this is kind of with the permaculture design philosophy behind problems. A problem is a solution disguised, and we can take certain design elements and take those waste streams and turn them into benefits, things that are really going to help us. Here we go. We got some direct sun today. We're a bit up on the farm. I think I can give you guys some really cool... Well, there's a yarumo tree in the way. Here we go. How about this? So that's where I want to start as I begin to continue to document my permaculture design program diploma. I want to start with that philosophically. I want to say that each and every one of us not only can, but really should take into their own hands their local ecosystem and climate. And if it's heating up, which I think it is in some parts of the world, I think last I heard we're experiencing heat waves. I'm a little behind on most things though, so that might be over now. I don't know. But it seems to be heating up in some parts of the world, according to what I'm hearing. Let's plant some trees, guys. Let's get some urban agriculture going. I think it's definitely worse, this phenomenon, in cities. But down here in like Bogota and even some of the local capitals, Ibagué, and here in Colombia, we plant a lot of trees in the city. I say we. The Colombian people plant lots of trees in their cities because here in the tropics it's hot. They know that. I want to challenge you guys. How can we get more trees planted in cities? Rooftop gardens are one. Remember, every leaf counts the same. Trees just have more of them. Trees have deep roots, though. They don't go real good on rooftops. But you could do some sort of dwarf bushes and different herbs on rooftops. That'll start absorbing energy. Apparently that saves on building, heating, and air conditioning costs as well. But where else can we put trees? And down here in Latin America, we see a lot in the sidewalk row, between the sidewalk and the road, and then in the median. And then sometimes there's like sidewall medians and stuff on highways that they plant 3 or 4 rows of trees on. And even some of the best roads have, you know, those tree tunnel roads. You guys have seen those in the States, I'm sure. And the trees grow over the road, and it's all shady, and it's a beautiful lane where people drive, and everyone loves that. And so I see a lot of those. I know about a couple of those here in Colombia in existence, and then I see a lot of them where it looks like that's what's going to be in like 30 or 40 years. You know, they've just planted them, or maybe 5 years ago planted them. They want that tunnel. So I want to hear from you guys. What are some other options? How can we make our world cooler with plants? Where can we put plants? Where are some areas in our life where it's just like grass all day, yes, mowing it every summer? Where can we get more trees? And I'm sure you guys have lawns up there in the north you can replace. So going up behind me, that's up. If I'm level here, so to go up you gotta tip it up a little bit. We got coffee fields just been picked. There, I'll show you this. Just before I sign out today, I'll give you a special treat. We've got two beautiful ripe coffee berries. This is pre-harvest, what we're working on right now. But these beans are the harvest there. There's more beans. There was 2 of these were red. Here we go. Which are now in my hand. And these coffee are under the shade right now. These are oaks, Tabiabuya rosea. We call that a kobo. I think it's in the oak family. And a very medicinal tree as well. Some people in Costa Rica were using the bark as a tea and some other uses for, I believe, cancers. Going down here, we have some rows of guava and the emergent Cecropia peltata as well, above our coffee fields. This is getting out into zone 4 here. Zones I don't traverse very frequently. And heading down, we get another steep slope. It's pretty steep going up and then pretty steep headed down to the river. Coffee only goes about a third of the way there, but we've also planted flowering bushes here, a lot of cuttings in our coffee fields, because we believe that the coffee is going to like that shade. So we've been working on, what is the fastest shade we can get, and then we can use that shade to upgrade to some higher quality shade. Right here we've got a Andean walnut, great high quality shade. 6 years later, almost, now it's going to get some leaves out. It almost could have maybe gave me shade today. Another 6 years it'll be a lot better at it. Now, this was planted just a year ago, and this is the Nazareno toilet paper tree, and has a beautiful purple flower. Great for the pollinators, they love that, and very fast growing, great for firewood as well, but very fast growing. We can get 18 months, we can get some shade, simple shade, and 24 months we get some really nice shade in the coffee plants. This is the winner. We like also Tricatea gigantea, Madre Agua, also propagated by cutting. A little bit slower, but a little bit straighter, goes straight up, maybe a nice tall tree. And then we also like hibiscus, Rosa silensis, that's a flowering bush. Again, bushes out a lot, doesn't get quite as tall or grow quite as fast as the toilet paper tree. But those are the three species we've used to try to get some fast diversity as well as shade in our coffee fields here. Then once we get this shade established, we'll continue to support and protect higher value species like timber species, like this Andean walnut that I mentioned. All right, guys. Well, take a think about that philosophy, guys. Where can you get more trees in your life? Is it possible that these huge global problems could be solved by humans on local scales? I think so. I'm eager for your feedback. Let me know what you guys think or what you're doing to fix the problem. I'd love to hear about that as well. All right, guys. Bye-bye.